The South Carolina Hall of Fame was founded in Myrtle Beach in 1973 to recognize and honor contemporary and past citizens who have made outstanding contributions to South Carolina's heritage, history, and progress.
She was probably one of the most influential African-American educators and civil rights figures during the first half of the 20th century.
Mary Jane McLeod Bethune was born on July 10, 1875, on a cotton farm in Mayesville, South Carolina, a rural farming community located near Sumter. Mary was the 15th out of 17 children born to Samuel and Patsy McIntosh McLeod, former slaves.
There's little about her beginnings that would suggest that she would go on to be one of the most powerful women in America. And Bethune tells the account in her autobiography that at some point she developed an ability to read and to write, and not many people knew it. And she was visiting a home where her mother was taking in wash, and she picked up a book, and someone ridiculed her immediately and said, "Put that down. You can't read that," when in fact she could. And she knew that moment was a suggestion to her that there was something perhaps powerful about literacy and perhaps powerful about education that she wanted to master. And I think from that very beginning, she realized that one could not be fully free until you were educated.
Young Mary had dreams of becoming a missionary, first studying at the Scotia Seminary for Girls in North Carolina, then at the Dwight Moody Institute for Home and Foreign Missions in Chicago. Upon graduating, there were no openings for missionaries, so she became a teacher, then met and married fellow teacher and minister Albertus Bethune. Her teaching positions in Georgia and South Carolina gave Mary McLeod Bethune the burning desire to build a school of her own. She moved to Daytona Beach, Florida, and starting with just $1.50, she founded the Bethune Institute for Girls, which today has become Bethune-Cookman University.
And she used Bethune-Cookman as her base to be involved in women's work, to be involved in politics, to be involved in civil rights.
Bethune was influenced by leading educators of the day and was a skilled fundraiser. During World War II, she was invited to the White House by Eleanor Roosevelt and became instrumental in organizing a group of influential African American political leaders, President Franklin Roosevelt's Black Cabinet.
He needed strong, persuasive voices to sit at his table to offer advice and consultation about how to make the Democratic Party more responsive to African Americans. And one of the most powerful, persuasive voices at that time was Mary McLeod Bethune. She was a brilliant woman, a brilliant person. And anyone who understood anything about race and politics of that period knew that if there were going to be anyone at the table to really set an agenda, she had to be there and in fact lead it.
Future politicians would also be influenced by Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune.
My mother thought she was just the greatest person in the world. And she made me just learn stuff about Mary McLeod Bethune. Because I was growing up in Sumter, and of course she was from Mayesville, 8 or 9 miles away. Now since that time, I've grown to appreciate not just who, but what she was, and the kind of stick-to-itiveness that she had.
Congressman Jim Clyburn led the effort to have Bethune's portrait displayed at the South Carolina State House in 1971.
It was a tough fight, but we prevailed.
Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune has been honored in many ways, including a South Carolina historical license plate introduced by her great-grandniece, Jereleen Hollimon Miller, and her husband, Ed Miller.
When you think about a license plate in her honor, in her memory, one of my main purposes is to make South Carolinians and the world aware of such a great lady and her accomplishment.
She had a journey and a story that she had to tell. And with the license plate, it has a story. And the story would add to her legacy.
I think she, for me, was a powerful symbol. But it seems to me that she was also a window into a time. Here was someone born during Reconstruction. someone who witnessed segregation, someone who witnessed racial violence, but also someone who, from the very beginning, wanted to transcend that and had the wherewithal and the ability to navigate and to circumvent tremendous obstacles from her days in Mayesville, South Carolina, to heights of influence from Washington, D.C. to New York.
To grow up a sharecropper in rural Sumter County and to become an advisor to several presidents. I mean, that to me is her greatest legacy.
If there were a Mount Rushmore for African Americans, she would definitely be on there.